The goddamn silence in that tiny coastal dump was the only damn thing that ever gave me peace, like a freaking oasis after years of city noise pounding my brain to mush. My new home, this crusty old cottage teetering on some sad little bluff, looked like the perfect hideout. It was dripping with history-reel fishy tales that the locals whispered like ghost stories, but I brushed them off as cheesy small-town bullshit. Oh, how wrong I was. That all flipped on its damn head the night the tide pulled back. So far, it looked like the ocean just pissed off and left us hanging. This wasn't just any low tide, no, hell no. The water vanished like some monstrous beast sucked into a black hole, revealing miles of slick, ugly seabed that looked like the goddamn earth was bleeding open. The air turned thick and nasty, smelling like rotten salt, wet dirt, and something ancient, something so damn primal it made my teeth chatter and my skin crawl like I'd just walked through a horror movie. The whole damn town went mute, docks dead silent where there should have been noise, replaced by this eerie, spine-chilling quiet that made your guts twist. There I was, stuck on my porch, eyes glued to that endless black line where the water was supposed to be stretching out into a void so damn deep it could swallow you whole. Then, out of nowhere, came the sounds. This faint, dragging noise right under my damn house, like something massive, something with the weight of a goddamn titan was being hauled across that exposed sand. No local critter could make a noise that heavy. It sounded like some ancient beast trying to bust out of hell's own basement. I tried to convince myself it was just the earth shifting, amplified by the dead silence, but my heart was pounding a furious damn drumbeat that said otherwise. And if that wasn't enough to screw with my head, the dream started. Not your run-of-the-mill nonsense, but vivid, twisted nightmares, so real I could swear I was standing right there on that blackened seabed, under a sickly, bruised green sky that looked like it belonged in a nightmare. The air was thick, freezing, like a goddamn weight pressing down on my chest. Shadows writhed and twisted just out of sight like some unspeakable horrors lurking, waiting to pounce. And then that haunting, wet, metallic clang like colossal chains dragging through the depths of hell itself. I'd wake up drenched in cold sweat, heart hammering like I'd just seen the devil, that goddamn clang echoing through the damn timbers of my creaky old house. What the hell was I dealing with? Was this some sick cosmic joke or the beginning of a nightmare that was about to swallow me whole? Damn right, I was about to find out.
The sounds from beneath the house grew more distinct over the next few nights. The dragging became punctuated by a wet, scraping sound, like nails on bone, and the faint whispers I'd initially dismissed as wind intensified. They were low, guttural, like words spoken by something without lungs, or something speaking through water itself. They seemed to emanate directly from the cold, damp stone of my foundation, seeping into the floorboards, into my very room. I could almost make out fragments. Rise, hunger, join. One dawn. After another night of unsettling dreams and the increasing horrifying sounds, I ventured down to the beach, drawn by an inexplicable, terrifying pull. The tide was still unnaturally low, the seabed stretching out like a vast, dark wound. There, half buried in the black, primordial mud, was a large, barnacle-encrusted metal sphere. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen, its surface covered with strange, intricate carvings that seemed to pulse faintly with an inner, sickly green light. As I approached, the sphere began to emit a low, resonant hum that vibrated through the ground, up into my very bones, and seemed to resonate deep within my skull. Around the sphere, driven deep into the mud like ancient, sacrificial offerings, were 3 gnarled, ancient-looking wooden stakes. Each stake was carved with symbols identical to those on the sphere, symbols that now seemed to writhe and contort before my eyes. As I touched the closest stake, a faint, sickening click echoed from within the sphere, and a section of its barnacled surface retracted with a wet, squelching sound, revealing a small, impossibly dark opening. A rush of cold, damp air, carrying that metallic, sweet scent, now overwhelmingly putrid, washed over me, almost gagging me. Inside the opening, resting on a cushion of dark, preserved seaweed that felt strangely warm to the touch, was a single ancient mariner's logbook. Its leather cover was thick with age in salt water, slick with a glistening residue. I opened it, my hands trembling, the pages brittle. The faded ink detailed a voyage from centuries ago, a whaling ship that had vanished mysteriously. But the final entries were chillingly different. They spoke not of storms or ice, but of the crew descending into madness, driven by an unseen entity from the deep, by its song, by its hunger. The last entry, smeared with what looked like dried dark blood, was a desperate, scrawled warning. It calls from the void. It feeds on the light. Do not disturb the anchors.
As I finished reading, the rhythmic clanging from my dreams began, no longer distant, but booming from somewhere directly beneath the exposed seabed, a monstrous bell tolling for the dead. The spheres hum intensified, vibrating violently, making the ground shudder. The whispers from my cottage now joined the sound, merging into a chorus of guttural, ancient voices that clawed at the edge of my sanity. The ground beneath my feet trembled violently, and I looked back at my cottage on the bluff. The old house looked less like a charming home and more like a sacrificial altar, perched precariously on the edge of an awakening abyss, ready to be swallowed whole.